YouTube creator burnout is a real thing. There's something about YouTube, the algorithm, the relentless demand of always uploading new content, connecting with your fans, answering comments, that leads to fatigue, not just practically, but also emotionally. And you know, I've actually been on this platform now since 2007. I've seen people come, I've seen people go, and I've also had the chance to interview over 100 of today's top video influencers, learning kind of the tips of those that have stood the test of time and those that have hit a wall and maybe failed to achieve some sort of life balance that hasn't allowed them to last. And so in this video, I want to share with you a clip of a recent talk that I did with Ricky Ray Butler and Daryl Eves discussing this very important issue of YouTube creator burnout. Both of them have been on the platform really since the beginning, and we really came up with 7 strategies, 7 tips so that you can avoid creator burnout, actually have a better balanced life, still hustling, but of course achieving that goal that we all want, which is not just short-term success, but ultimately long-term success here on YouTube. So let's get into it right now.
I think all 3 of us have been in the industry, especially on YouTube, for a very long time. And we see creators come and we see creators go. And there's multiple reasons for it. Now, like I said, at the intro to this podcast, we were talking about you've interviewed quite a few of these individuals. Like I go to these conferences and I'm there to go give my talk or whatever. And you probably do like 40 different interviews. You know, you're interviewing them, you're trying to see what makes them tick and like tell their story. So you've done this, you know, for years. What's some themes like for people that have come and gone? What are some of the things that trigger why they leave? And also the people that are able to stay longer?
I think a big one is, do you truly love doing this? And, you know, I also think it's okay that you might love it for a while and you might fall out of love with it, and that's fine too. So maybe sometimes it's not bad to leave. You learned that this is not necessarily what you want to do. But I'll tell you this, on the other side of the camera or the phone, the appearance of the YouTuber lifestyle can be very attractive. But when I think about it, I feel like I'm on vacation every day. And that's not totally true. There's definitely when you're grinding, you're working, and
most don't.
But I mean, because I love what I'm doing. So when I think about if someone's like, I would love like Sean's lifestyle, well, maybe you wouldn't, because I do get up and grind from like 7 to 7 pretty much every day. Because and that's flexibility to do what I want, or maybe we travel or we go to events, but I love it. I like being at events. I love learning about YouTube. I love marketing, and I love being in the creative process and planning videos. But I think sometimes people are like, oh wait, there's like a whole bunch of work in the middle between the conference in Hawaii or the, being on stage at VidCon or whatever. And so I just think that there is a whole lot of work that goes in. That's one thing we've learned from interviewing well over 100 video influencers now. They work hard, man.
Oh, yeah.
They put a ton of work in. And I know that on the periphery, it could just seem like, well, I just want the result, not necessarily the work.
Right.
I think a lot of it's also making sure you find that balance, because the work is fun. And I'd say most of the people in this space are extremely passionate about it. They love what they're doing, but there's also starting to be a trend of fatigue. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of that's happening because people overdo it to the point where it stops being healthy.
Yeah. Well, it's not only that, but it's also that they're not willing to let go. And I mean, they're control freaks.
They're not scaling their business.
They're not scaling it. Mm-hmm. And it's like, you can only do so much, right? Like there's no way I could pull off what I pull off without the team that I have. There's just no way. But the whole thing is, a lot of these creators are just doing it themselves, or they might bring in an editor when they really truly need someone to manage their life, to do check their email, to work with, making sure there's grocery shopping and all the other things that are going on, an assistant of some sort. But when you do these interviews, do you see like people that were they fell out of love, and they fell out of love because they were exhausted with just trying to keep up?
Yeah, and you hit the other probably 2 big categories. I think one is they need to develop a new set of skills, because it's the E-Myth, which is a classic book
for YouTubers
that YouTubers should read, because the E-Myth is all about the fact that when someone wants to be in business for themselves, which is what a YouTube creator is doing, they are usually a great technician. They're good on camera, they're good at editing, but maybe they have not developed the skills of leadership, team building, delegation. So it's an intentionality that you need to actually upgrade your skills set. And also ego keeps you, because delegating, I remember when I first delegated editing, I was so terrified because editing was my main thing. It was like my whole life. And I thought that in the comments, I was like, as soon as I handed it over to an intern named Jay a couple summers ago, I thought people in the comments when I released this video are going to be like, what happened? Where did Sean go?
Exactly.
What? I can't believe it. He's such a sellout. I can't believe, and there was zero comments that acknowledged the editing was different, which was kind of a blow to my ego. Like, wow, I thought, even I was like, well, I even edit better. And there were some things that I let slide but no, like they didn't even notice. Yeah. So there can be the ego. So I think you definitely need those skill sets. And the other thing you touched on is those systems. You need structure, systems, and routines because you need that life rhythm. You're right. It's out of balance. I think so the reason we batch so hardcore at CES or shoot interviews at events is because for that very reason, that is a system we've developed that allows us to sustain weekly content by shooting huge groups of it all at once, and then still have a life and still work on other aspects of our business.
That's important. I think everyone at some point that's trying to build a company, or let's say, build a channel, it's having a pivotal point of going from being a tradesperson or tradesman to becoming a leader, and going from details and micromanagement to being more strategic from a high level, and in order to become a leader, you really do and grow and be successful. You have to learn how to give things up and empower people to do them better than you, and find people that can do it much better than you could ever do it. And that's something I had to learn when starting a company. At the very beginning, I did the sales, I did the execution, I did the account management. And once I was able to get around that curve and make it so, and realize that there's people that can do this better than me, that's when the company just started to explode. But this is applicable not just to creators or people that are starting businesses, but if you're in an organization, a lot of people just want to control everything, and they don't want to give up any of the power or the influence that they have, when they realize that they can just prioritize what they need to focus on and how they can empower people around them so everyone can perform better.
But that goes with the mindset too. Like the mindset is, I'm the star, you will do everything that I need to do, then versus I'm the CEO and I'm running this company. And that's
if you want to grow an empire, you have to be the CEO. Exactly. You can't be a celebrity.
That's exactly right.
There's a lot of people that get started that just think, when am I going to get an awesome agent? And that's not how you should be thinking. You should be thinking, how am I going to grow a team and have my own sales team eventually?
Exactly.
And just build something that's going to self-sustain over time. Having an agent's great. Having a manager is fantastic. But as you said, acting like a media company is probably one of the most important things for growth.
And I think too, the biggest thing that I notice is there is the creator side. They say, hey, I just want to create content. That's all, I love the creative portion, and I don't treat this like a business. And I've seen those people come and go because this is a business. I don't care when you upload that video and this is your job. It is a business. Like when you're receiving, monetary value for uploading the video, and that's all you're doing, then you need to treat it a little bit differently. And you might need to look at other aspects to bring in revenue than just the ads.
One thing I just wanted to add to that last section too, is a quote that my mentor, Shalene and Brett Johnson on his arm has got a tattoo. It says, "Scared money don't make money." And I actually think that creators get to a place where you actually start making some good money, but you're maybe afraid to reinvest it, or you don't have the vision to reinvest it. And exactly what you're saying, like when you start, like this might seem obvious, but I feel as we start talking about how to make money or different ways, I feel like everybody listening, every creator needs to adopt a mindset. I need to make more money. Now that's you're like, well, of course, they probably all think that, but no, I need to make more money because because the vision's going to require, this is a family thing. How do I bring the support necessary around? So that's moving from a mindset of just, I'm a creator and I'm living well, to scaling past that and finding ways to produce revenue, but then also being willing to reinvest it, because scared money don't make money. And it can be scary to make that first hire and be afraid. Well, what if they don't work out? They probably won't. You'll have to be willing to like burn money on 1, 2, 3 people that don't work. But when you get that person who changes your whole business and helps you scale, then that changes the whole game. So you have to be willing in the process to have micro losses so you can get those bigger wins.
That or you pay someone on sabbatical for a year so they come back and work for you because they do so well.
And so, as far as thinking,
I love what you said, micro losses, because that's important. Like, whatever you're doing, you're going to have to optimize what you're doing in life to progress. And, it's scary to bring someone on that's going to fail, but that's actually going to make you better.
Yep.
And it's going to empower you to make a better decision next time.
So I hope that you found that conversation encouraging and valuable. And if you did, can you smash the like button? And if you actually want to check out the entire interview that I did on the Creative Disruption podcast, we talk about how to get more views on your videos, make more money on this platform called YouTube, and ultimately build a real business, as well as some industry insights that I think you'll love. I'll link that up on the YouTube card and post a link to that full interview in the description below as well. Question of the day: what is your experience with burnout? I know myself, I've maybe been there a couple times and also been close to it, and I've had to make some life changes, and I've developed different habits, different routines, but I'd love to hear if you've ever faced burnout and what you do to avoid it yourself. Post those in the comment section below, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.